All right, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the CBS News Minnesota Morning Update. I'm Jason DeRusha. Love that you're hanging out with us today, especially considering longtime viewers of this know that the first thing we do is give you the weather forecast. Who wants that? Right? Like, do you even want to see it? We're talking about some new technology where we could do real-time voting. And I could say, do you want to see the weather forecast or not? Click yes or no. We don't have that yet. So here we go. Here's the forecast. Put it up. No? I gave you 38 seconds to get ready to click the button. Who's directing this thing today? It's fine. Oh, Addie was just waiting. All right, here it is. It's warmer than yesterday. It's still about 12 degrees cooler than it should be. 14 degrees, actually. It should be about 62 for a high. But, it's dry. Just showing how defeated I am, I went outside yesterday to, do a little raking of my yard. And the sun actually felt good. What is wrong with me? But it's it's sunny at least. So we'll have that going for you today. Let's talk about this. Here in the Twin Cities, we love it. We love it when big celebrities come to town. Let's be real, our celebrity stock, definitely A-Rod has helped with the Timberwolves, but we don't have a lot of big celebrities here, right? Who's the biggest celebrity in the Twin Cities? Amelia, probably Amelia, number one. Frank, number two. Here's don't send this to him. Okay, here we go. We got some celebs in town. They're filming a movie. This was a fun story that we went out and shot visiting this cast. Ed Harris, that's a big shot. Vanessa Hudgens, she's a big deal. Great actress. Lily Rabe, who I went through an absolute breakdown at 5:45 this morning trying to decide how to pronounce her name. But you'd know her if you see her. Production crews, when you got all these people and all these trucks around St. Paul. They've been shooting at the Spot Bar and over at Highland Park High School. So the film is, I don't know if it's going to be called Downtown Owl. It's based on Chuck Klosterman's 2008 novel by that title. And they're hoping to premiere at Sundance. That'd be cool. Next year. So it just got us thinking about Minnesota movies. Movies filmed here in Minnesota or movies with a Minnesota connection. What's your favorite? Favorite movie with a Minnesota connection. Always fun. I think we love that. When you recognize, I think I know what that building is. So let us know your favorites, and we'll share some of that coming up. Police believe they know who killed a 10-year-old girl in western Wisconsin. And the update from this is that it doesn't appear to be a stranger. I think that was the fear in Chippewa Falls. There's no good result of this, right? 10-year-old Lily Peters killed. We don't know how. And to a certain degree, it doesn't matter. A 10-year-old's life gone. And the city, for sure, on edge, right? Did someone nab Lily as she was riding her bike on the trail between her house and her aunt's house? The chief said Lily knew her killer, at least who they believe is her killer. He didn't elaborate on how. So we'll continue following this. Hopefully we'll learn a little bit more details, but we do know the police had tape all around her aunt's house, and they served a search warrant there. So certainly what sounds like, it's a terrible tragedy, and we'll continue asking questions and try to get answers there, but perhaps a little bit of relief in the community of Chippewa Falls, at least, that there's not killer on the loose. Let's update you on another story that we're watching for today, and this is a report on the city of Minneapolis and its police department. The Department of Human Rights, has been investigating for some time now. They've been trying to determine if the police department and the city engage in what they call a pattern or practice of racial discrimination. So the question is there training? Are there issues? Are there systemic problems in the way the city does its business? This all started after the death of George Floyd, the investigation, but it's bigger than that. It's not about what happened in that moment. It's about what is happening in general with this department in this city. So that report expected to come out sometime that morning. And we'll give you updates, of course, streaming on CBS News Minnesota as we learn more. There are some new developments in the trial for 3 former officers accused of murdering George Floyd. You perhaps watched some of our live streaming on CBS News Minnesota of the trial of Derek Chauvin. You won't get that opportunity in the trial of Thomas Lane and J. Alexander King. They're accused of aiding and abetting Derek Chauvin, various charges for each one of these 3. But they are basically accused of not intervening and thereby being a party to the murder of George Floyd. We watched as Chauvin's state trial was live streamed, and it was Judge Peter Cahill who said he allowed it. And he said it was allowed because of the pandemic. But there also was a different sort of dynamic there between the defendant and the prosecution. It was Chauvin's attorney who wanted to live stream the trial. In this case, the defense attorneys don't want to live stream the trial. And because pandemic restrictions are different now, Judge Cahill said nope. He sort of reversed what he did before and said this case is different, and he's not allowing cameras inside the courtroom based on Minnesota state law. It is a state law. It is something media organizations have been trying to change. But right now in Minnesota, if one of the parties to a crime, whether it's the prosecutors or the defendant, one of the parties in a trial says no, then that's it. It's a no. So that's where we're at. No cameras. A popular summer festival is going to come back this year. Twin Cities Pride is always a big deal here, but 2 years of not having it, funding kind of pulling out, controversy about how inclusive Pride itself is, what their role is. This sort of an old white gay festival is sort of what some younger people of color have protested against. And so this year the whole thing is back. The parade is back. The festival is back. And organizers, there are some new people running the thing, and they say they were really working hard on being more inclusive than ever. There are more leaders of color. There will be a place for protest. There will be sober events, so it's not just an over-the-top exuberant inebriation party. And more family events, too. So we have seen them doing these sensory tents for people on the autism spectrum. There will be more of those. And more accessibility for people who use wheelchairs as well.
The LGBT community is such a specific thing that represents people in every other cross community. And so we want to make sure people feel comfortable being their whole selves. We want people to be able to have a good time and be there. So if you have an accessibility need that prevents you or makes it more difficult for you to physically participate, we want to be able to try to help as much as we can.
Pride activities start in just a few weeks, go through June. They're looking for volunteers, too, so if you want to see details on the events you can take part in or the events you can volunteer in, WCCO.com/wolves. I was screaming at the TV last night. It was rough. Timberwolves played so well. It was looking so good, but Game 5, Ja Morant. First, he dunked on us at the end of the third, and then that layup just shut it down. With 1 second left, the Grizzlies were down 11 in the fourth. And this is the NBA. I know a lot of people are like, how do you give up a double-digit lead? It happens so fast with how good these three-point shooters are and how quickly you can go cold. And the Wolves made some mistakes on the offensive end, but the Grizzlies brought in so many offensive rebounds. They had so many second chances. And so the Grizzlies win. They're up 3-2. The Wolves have to win Game 6. I feel good about it. I think this is going to be a 7-game series. Friday night here in Minneapolis. Mankato. People donated some stuff at the thrift store. And we've all done it, right? You're donating stuff. You're cleaning out stuff from your basement. And, maybe you put in some stuff that you shouldn't have. Maybe it's a mistake. Maybe you're like, you know what? I really don't care about this anymore. So we'll see which one is the case, because this Mankato bookstore, thrift store, it's called Again, Thrift, and More. That's where the good stuff happens. They are trying to find whoever donated these family photos. Sort of hard to believe that someone would donate. I mean, why would you intentionally donate that, right? Look at that photo album. These kind of family photos from 1916 to 1965, special occasions, school homes, a flood. So nobody knows, when they were donated, who left them, but the store is really trying to find the family they belong to.
I get kind of teary-eyed just thinking about it, because I know in my family we don't have a lot of photos from generations past. And there's some really precious photos in there that I am sure somebody is missing.
What if you hate your family? What if someone intentionally is like, I hate these people? Or what if someone left it behind when they moved and somebody was like cleaning out a house? Who knows? But the store's trying to help, and we're trying to help too. They say this has happened before. You know, something gets kind of stuck with all the other belongings. So if you know, give them a call. Kind of cool. See those old photos. Delta is going to start paying flight attendants for their work before takeoff. I think a lot of us didn't realize that flight attendants at U.S. airlines don't typically start getting paid until the airplane doors close. So you show up at the airport, you're not on the clock. You're saying, hi, 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 hello, hi, hi. You're not getting paid. You're helping Larry, who brought the biggest carry-on bag possible, get that bag in, and you're not getting paid. Delta flight attendants have tried several times to unionize, and Delta, the airline, doesn't want that to happen. So they're saying, hey, what if we give you 50% of your regular pay during boarding time? We have been talking about the red-hot housing market across the country. Now some homes sold in, where else? La La Land. Come with an offer maybe you haven't seen before.
So the person that buys this house can actually buy a house that's already built in the Metaverse for $100,000.
So serious about this. The Metaverse is very interesting. I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm not that guy. I'm interested in Bitcoin. I'm interested in NFTs, and I'm interested in this virtual reality world. I am not interested in paying $9.4 million to buy a physical home and then an extra $100,000 to get a home in the Metaverse. But if you did, what would one do with a home in the Metaverse?
People would be able to have their friends over from all over the world for a virtual gathering. They could have their NFTs displayed in the house. They could have the furniture change.
Ooh, you could put your NFTs, you've got your top knot braid, and you've got your goatee and your very obnoxious glasses. And you, sir, are the worst person in the world. But please invite your friends from around the world to hang out with you in the Metaverse at your house. It's going to be great. Metaverse is interesting. Again, I'm not poo-pooing it. $4 billion have been spent there in the last year. And maybe this $100,000 will look like a brilliant investment. A lot of people already familiar with the virtual world because of video games. So who knows? If you can't afford to buy a real house, maybe you could afford a house in the Metaverse. All right, let's talk about Minnesota movies. We got a movie filming here right now in St. Paul. Let us know if you see Vanessa Hudgens. Wasn't she in High School Musical? What time is it? It's one of my favorite High School Musical songs. What time is it? 7:43? It's party time. You're on vacation. What time is it? Let's see what you're saying. Here we go. Fargo, yep. Wood Chipper, of course. Mighty Ducks, classic. Thanks, Anna. Here's an oh, Love Always was so good. I didn't know Santa was in Northfield, Minnesota. Thanks for that. Here's, oh, Purple Rain, of course. Mary says it's cool that they're shooting this movie here right now. You know, tax incentives, part of that. A lot of films wanted to shoot here, but they go to places that have tax incentives. It's not fair, but it is, you know. Grumpy Old Man, yeah, Bradley echoes that. Halftime Wreck, I think, that bar, they shot a scene for Grumpy Old Men. They still have like the Christmas lights up. Simon, yep, Mighty Ducks. Mighty Ducks is pretty good. It's really good. Love seeing all the scenes from the Twin Cities. What's your favorite, Chris? Do you have a favorite Minnesota? Drop Dead Gorgeous. Years ago, I was shooting a story. We had this idea for a story where it was going to be about movies made in Minnesota. And the photographer and I were doing stand-ups, the on-camera part where the reporter talks. And we were shooting the stand-up in the exact style of the scene in the actual movie. And so Drop Dead Gorgeous had a scene at a parade in Waconia. It was shot in Waconia. And so we went to Waconia during a parade, and we shot this video when my wife was just about 10 months pregnant with what is now our 16-year-old. So that's how long I've been working here. And whatever happened to that story? Nothing. I'm sure the tape has been destroyed and the story never went on the air, but never aired it. There's sort of a longer story as to why that story never aired. That's not for you guys to hear. So thanks for watching the Morning Update from CBS News Minnesota. We're your only streaming news source. We'll see you tomorrow.